Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Boxing 365 for another installation of our sort of recap video, which is something we're trying again, which is new. So if you do like it, please let us know. Also, if you don't like it, let us know because it'll let us know what we should be spending our time on.
I have a challenge for the nice people at home. Thought about it earlier this morning.
Go on then.
I want them all to let us know in the comments one thing they like about this and one thing they don't like.
But what if they say the one thing I like about this is Dan, and the one thing I don't like about this is Tom?
Well, as I've said multiple times, if that is the case, then get the fuck out my shed.
But no, seriously, please do let us know what you like, what you don't like, because it will help us make sure we're spending time on the things that you do like seeing, because that's good for us and good for you. Please do subscribe if you're not already. Thank you if you are. And make sure to look out on TikTok and Instagram as well. Just to be clear though, today what we're going to talk about is what has happened over the weekend, what the results were. We did a video about what was coming up, so we're going to look back on the same things we sort of talked about in that video now that it's taken place. But we are going to start with Adam Azim and Steve Claggett. The writing was on the wall from the first round, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest.
Well, the writing was on the wall before it even started for me, but
It was for me until, as always with fight weeks, you start to second guess yourself. You start to think Claggett is tough, and then you think Adam Azim's good. And then he looked a bit tight at the weight, and I thought, ooh, I don't know if I like the look of him at the weigh-in. And you start to second guess yourself, and I was like, this might go later than I thought.
mm,
Yeah, it was. I've learned never to doubt myself. Just trust your gut. If I'm wrong, but just trust your gut. And we said from the start this could be a demolition job. And did I expect it in 2.5 rounds? No, no.
no,
I mean, Claggett looked like he'd been in there for 12.
not before the bell. I didn't, but as soon as that first round ended, I was like, this is not gonna last.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I know what you're saying.
Before
Yeah.
the bell, I thought probably later rounds Azim might get to him, because he's proven that before. But yeah, as soon as it started, you're like, God, this is not gonna last long. That first right uppercut that went through, yeah, it was. I did think I tried to take a balanced look because I like Adam Azim, but I was like, I feel like I'm still waiting for somebody to really land on him a lot.
Hmm.
And Claggett was landing on him quite a bit. There was a few times where I thought Azim's up a bit straight and he got caught a couple of times, but it just didn't bother him. And I think that's just because Claggett wasn't carrying a lot of strength. He didn't look good at the weight. He looked a lot smaller than him.
Mm.
His punches weren't doing anything to him really.
No impact
But
at all, were they?
I wonder in the future whether somebody who's really game, somebody who's really competing, if they can land on Adam Azim, what effect that's going to have. Hopefully, he can get through it. But yeah, there were just a couple of times where I thought, I think he's so good offensively, and I said this in the other video that we haven't seen enough of his defense. I don't think. And what I did see, I didn't really like shoving off a lot with his shoulder. And I thought, it's a bit. I think in the wrong fight, that's going to go against him. He's going to get told by the ref for that in the wrong fight.
Yeah, there was a couple of occasions where he was setting himself up with the shoulder and with the elbow and stuff like that. And there's a few times where if you get a fighter in front of you who's willing to complain,
Mm,
the referee then is in a position where it's like, I'm going to have to start doing something
yeah.
here. Whereas Claggett wasn't really bothered, was he?
No, I don't know if it's about complaining. I just think in a fight with more stakes and in
Yeah,
a fight with two people that are there to win,
yeah,
I just think the ref will say, "Stop doing that. Stop," because it wasn't just like it was there was quite a lot of it.
yeah. There was, yeah.
Look, it worked well for him, and you know I'm not going to take away from his performance. He was brilliant. He looked so sharp and fast. But
We see it a
yeah,
lot, don't we, with fighters pushing off with forearms and stuff.
yeah,
One thing I want to talk about is the stoppage. Now, that just for clarity, I don't think it was a bad stoppage. However, I have seen comments on posts on Boxer BBC
mm.
saying Claggett is an experienced campaigner. They jumped on him too soon. I thought that was mind blowing for me.
The stoppage was always coming. Um, he got them a couple of shots through. You could see that he was wobbled at that point. He'd already been down, and he's not often down. I think they said it was the third time in his career he's gone down.
Not sure if I'm honest. I can't say.
Um,
Can't say I heard it.
and then just the flurry of shots comes in, and you think, yeah, just stop it.
Yeah.
It was that is. I don't advocate for it a lot because I think there's been occasions where it's happened and it's been the wrong choice. But he wasn't in there to win. He was in there to be a little bit of a test. We learned in the first round he wasn't that much of a test because Adam Azim just like smashed his nose up in one shot.
Yeah.
And he was just getting beat up. So
Yeah.
it's like, well, it's a third. What was it? Second round, third round,
Third round.
third round.
Halfway through the third round.
It's the third round that he's now getting obliterated, taking a lot of punishment. Why let him carry on?
Yeah.
Why let him take the damage?
And the thing is as well, what people don't forget, what people forget and what we don't always see is that these referees have been and briefed these fighters beforehand in their dressing rooms.
Yeah.
So they see, they hear things. You know, you don't know what conversation that referee's had. Certain fighters, Fabio Wardley said, like, at the start of every fight, if I'm hurt, don't want you stepping in. And that'll put a subconscious seed in the referee's head.
Mm.
If he's gone in there and gone, look, I'm there to protect you, you got to protect yourself at all times, all the usual stuff, no shots below here, da, 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 da. And he's gone, yeah, no worries. And he's like, if I do think it's done, I'm stepping in. And you don't see any sort of resentment or something. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
You sort of think, I don't know if he's sort of all there with it. Do you know what I mean? I
Yeah,
don't
I know what
if
you
he's
mean.
fully invested. And I think it was an element of the fact that we predicted Claggett was past his best. I think there was an element of that comes into it. Nothing away from Adam Azim, looked brilliant.
Yeah,
And
it really
obviously,
did.
statement performance, really good win. And it'll age well on his record because of where Claggett's been. But we need that live test now.
Yeah, I don't even think we need a live test. I just think we talk about him so much. We've given him these people that have been there. We've given him Lipnitz. We've given him O'Hara Davies. We've given him Scobie not so much. And now we've given him Steve Claggett. I think it's time to just do it. It's time to just go for it.
Roll the dice.
I think so. I think it's got to be looking at a title, but that's what's available. I know you mentioned Lindolfo Delgado as opponent next.
He's number one ranked in the IBF, and obviously that belt's vacant.
Yeah. So.
Do you know the biggest problem with Azim still?
Mm,
Before we swiftly move on, commercially, he isn't attractive to people.
he should be.
He's not. Oh, absolutely should be.
He should be.
But I was looking when I was watching it, and I was like, looks empty. So I messaged somebody who I knew was at the event, and I just said, like, what's going on? Like, is there a streaming issue or something? Like, do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, just empty. They had to move one of the fights to after the main event because a lot of the fans that were there were for that fight, not
Yeah,
for,
and they would have left.
and they'd have left. And I saw it when I went down to one of their shows at York Hall when the main event came on, and it was Caroline Dubois versus somebody quite early in her career, and all of the fans were there for Callum Simpson, and they went, and
Yeah.
I ended up getting put front row because they needed it for camera to look good, and I get it, and that's not me slating them, but I just think commercially, if you're not able to sell an arena out, one of the bigger names are going to look at you and go, well, what are you bringing to the table?
Yeah, yeah. It's a concern, but I think a bigger promoter, a promoter with more, I don't know, maybe financial backing, whatever, shouldn't worry too much about that with Adam Azim because he's got the skills to be a world champion,
Oh,
and
100%.
so that will put bums on seats.
Yeah.
The issue I think is he's not as in your face. His boxing great and his boxing looks good, and I don't really want somebody who's in your face off the
No.
out of the ring too much.
Mm-hmm.
I do have people that I enjoy like that, Del Boy, stuff like that, but I don't need that to be excited. But I think to fill arenas, you need a bit of that. I know he did. I know there was a bit more talking in this build up, and even with the Scobie one, there was a bit more. So I think maybe he's starting to lean into that a bit. But from what I know of him, what I've seen of him, he's not that kind of person. Like he just isn't. He just seems like a nice person, good lad who's just not too bothered about being like that and just wants to let his hands do the talking. And I think that's going to be his career the whole way through. I think
Yeah.
he'll be. Yeah, I think he's got the opportunity. He just needs the right promoter, really. Sorry again, and sure. Now we can't spend too long on Adam Azim, so we'll move on to O'Shaquie Foster, Ray Ford. Anything to say to me, Tom?
Sorry. Well, actually, no, I'm not sorry, am I? I mean, you got it right, I got it wrong. I picked with my heart, you picked with
Yes,
your head, and that's
you
okay.
did get it right.
Ray Ford, actually, do you know what?
It was a close fight.
It was a
Wasn't
close
really?
fight. It was competitive. Ray Ford should have won.
Huh?
Well, O'Shaquie Foster should have been disqualified.
See, I think this is where we disagree.
Mate,
I know we didn't actually.
like, it wasn't even. They were on the ropes and he was leaning on him. And we've seen it with leans where they go over top rope. We've seen it where the ropes aren't tight and they slip through. He grabbed him and launched him.
He didn't try to throw him out the ring.
He didn't try to throw him out the ring, but if you throw someone towards the ropes, what you're expecting
We've
to
seen
happen.
people you've seen Canelo pick people up. You've seen people throw people on the floor. Did you want those people disqualified?
I said earlier, someone commented, or Jay commented and put he disagrees with me, and I said, to be fair, I am probably a bit harsh.
I agree with Jay.
I'm a harsh referee. If I was a referee, it point deduction, Ref, it's me 60-second break. Yeah, but you've took your gum shield out again.
Well,
But look, no, I can see both stories. I said as a minimum though there should have been a point deduction there for me.
I could have seen a point deduction, and it would have brought it closer on one card. One card had it way wide, like 118, 112. One was like 116, 114. So that'd make a difference there. But
Yeah, they brought it to 115, 115. It'd have been a majority draw.
probably, yeah, a draw. So yeah, I mean, I could see that potentially a draw if there'd have been a point deduction, but you don't know how. We can't say it's all well and good now, but you can't say how that would have affected the fight anyway, can you? And you can't say really what happened to Ray Ford because of that. It's not know, can't be much fun falling out the ring, but I
No.
just think it wasn't a. You'll have seen it now on screen anyway, hopefully. It wasn't a coming together and an angry, "We're gonna launch you out the ring." It was a "Get off me, throw you off." And there's also an element of I don't know.
Go
I
on,
can't really
just say
explain it.
it.
It's like with football, isn't it? How much dramatization is there?
You think
No,
Ray
no, no,
Ford
no, no,
took a
no,
flying headbutt out of the
no.
ring?
I don't think he dived out the ring. I think he felt himself get choked, went to the ground, and didn't realize that he was going to be out the ring.
Okay,
I'm just saying.
that's two wild
I'm saying, do
opinions.
you really think that O'Shaquie Foster threw him all the way across the ring?
It wasn't. They were next to the
He
ropes.
weren't really next to the ropes.
My point being though, and do you know if it was later in the fight and you've got exhaustion and it's like you're fucking doing my head in,
Mm,
no problem. Well, say no problem, less of a problem.
mm,
It's 2 minutes into the first round. You're
mm.
fresh. There's not an. There shouldn't be that much element of frustration, and I just,
He's probably just trying to impose his size a bit. Let him know he's there.
mate, look, what's happened
Look,
happened.
it
And to
was
be honest,
it wasn't right.
Ray probably did the wrong thing
Mm,
in regards to the whole play acting thing. You know, I don't know if Ray was hurt when he was thrown out of the ring. He, it's a fair old drop for anyone who
yeah,
sat next to a
yeah.
ring. It's
He sort of landed on his, almost like on his stomach chest at the edge of the ring, didn't he? And then
yeah.
sort of,
If he was
then he
hurt,
sort of slid out.
if he was hurt at all, he should have made that clear to the referee. He didn't.
Yeah,
So maybe that's a mistake and an inexperience on his behalf.
that could be an ego thing though as well.
Of course, it could.
Don't let him see he's hurt me, sort of thing.
Sold out arena. Don't
Yeah.
want to swallow you. Don't want to swallow it. But look, that's not the only talking point.
No.
Good performance from Shaq.
I think we should round that off by saying yes, it shouldn't have happened, but I don't think it should have been a disqualification.
You want me to round it off for everyone at home that you're right and I'm wrong?
No, no,
Say twice in 13 minutes.
no. I'm
Not
just
happening,
saying.
guys.
But yeah, you're right. It was a good performance again from Jackie Foster. But what I think he keeps having good performances, and I wonder when that's going to end. And I think that could be depending on what happens with his next fight, which one of his next opponents comes along.
Yeah.
I think it could be that next fight.
Yeah, so obviously everyone that watched the fight saw them face off with Shakur Stevenson afterwards, which would insinuate that Shakur is looking to come back down to lightweight. Because I can't imagine that O'Shaquie Foster is going to make a two-weight jump straight
No,
off the bat.
or that Shakur's going to take any more of a cut than that.
Yeah,
So
so I'd imagine they're going to meet bang in the middle. None of that's confirmed. That's all rumours that we've created.
yep,
Um,
spreading lies and
spreading
misinformation.
misinformation, spreading lies. Great. Do you know what? YouTube's AI are going to pick that up and be like, delete account, and we'll be like, no.
All that work.
Yeah, so that's an interesting fight. But again, I do think Shakur's one of the elite.
Mm.
He's not a top class operator. He is an elite operator. He's a pound for pound operator.
Yeah.
O'Shaquie Foster, every time he wins, though, he is closer and closer to people having to go and admit this guy is a fringe elite champion. Like, I'd like to see, I know he struggles to make super feather because he said it previously. But I'd love to see him fight Navarrete because that's your legacy fight for him.
It would be.
That's the fight where the name that people then go.
I know when we talked about the Navarrete and Nunes fight,
Yeah,
we're a bit like. I think we both. I can't remember how we both. I know I learned definitely that I felt like Navarrete was still going to do it. I don't think
you
you
did,
didn't.
yeah.
But I know there was a bit of a discussion about whether it was starting to become a bit late in his career, whether he was going to be. He looked as good as ever, and I think again, I don't know, that'd be a really interesting fight. Like you said, I think that would really capture people's attention.
Yeah.
Navarrete, big name,
Relentless pressure,
relentless pressure.
body puncher against the boxer, the steady, the measured, he's so good, Foster. He is. And I'll be honest, I thought Volume was going to get Ray Ford out of trouble,
Mm.
but he just couldn't work him out. He just couldn't get close enough for long enough,
He's
and
quite a dampener, isn't he, Shaki Foster?
yeah,
Quite a neutralizer, and he's like
no one ever finds the rhythm against him, do
not
they?
particularly
He's
now.
hard,
Yeah.
and he looked $1 million. He looked brilliant. I'd like to see him at featherweight against Navarrete because I think it's a legacy fight.
Mm.
I think the realism of lightweight, I just don't see him beating Shakur.
No, me neither.
And then at featherweight, you've got Lomachenko back now. You go and beat Navarrete, for an example. If I'm Foster, beat Navarrete. Lomachenko comes through, whoever he fights. It's talk with Charlie Suarez.
And
Then you've
again, that's another
like Lomachenko at 38,
massive fight.
irrelevant because people will still go. It's Lomachenko,
Yeah.
like with Usyk. He's just that good. So
Yeah.
yeah, massive fights. Looking forward to it, and
Absolutely.
the future is bright.
It is. It is indeed. Uh, the next fight that we talked about previously was Bivol and Efer. There's a bit less to say with this, I would say, because there
Hmm.
wasn't any controversy or anything like that. It felt routine, didn't it? I mean,
Yeah,
Bivol was coming back from being out the ring for a long time. We sort of said Efer is his work and the way he fights. His boxer. He likes his jabs. He likes his straight shots, and he likes to move. But he was fighting one of the best in the world at doing that, and it showed, didn't it? It was they both had this. They had a similar sort of way of approaching the fight,
yeah,
and unfortunately, Bivol is just better,
yeah.
and that showed on the cards. It was, I think, every card was 120, 103, something like that.
It was
Um,
miles, weren't it? It was just the
yeah,
gap. The gap.
121. I didn't mean that.
120,
120,
107.
107. Sorry,
It's
miles
because
away.
yeah, it'll be the way you're working your maths
Yeah,
out in your mind.
yeah.
Yeah, routine. There was a couple of times where I thought Bivol's just going through the gears. Round 5 especially really sort of started to put the pressure on, and I think from that round, or it might have been round 6, effort just sort of went into survival mode. Just
Mm,
kinda it looked like it was, "Right, I'm just gonna get to 12 rounds and say I've done it, and
yeah,
it'll hopefully help my reputation." Um,
which is mad because he's a
he's
good
decent.
level light heavyweight, and I think against other light heavies, he'd do well, and you could see he has that
He's
skill.
he's clearly a good fighter.
Yeah, yeah.
What disappointed me a little bit with him, if I'm honest, is I appreciate, and we spoke about it in the video that we've just recorded for this week that's already out, guys, so go check that out. Um, he just wasn't willing to switch up his game plan. You're never going to pull Bivol out of his game plan
No,
because it's Dmitry
he's
Bivol.
like a cyborg, isn't he?
He's just he's phenomenal, and he
Mm,
can step out of it. Seen it against Beterbiev, where he will stand and fight your fight, but he'll fight your fight when it suits him,
yeah,
not when it suits you.
yeah.
What he needed to do in that was stop trying to go back, stop trying to counter Dmitry Bivol, stop trying to box the boxer. And I appreciate it's not your comfort zone, but he needed to go forward. He needed to push the pace, and I know it's
I think he
easier
was
said than
trying
done
to meet him, wasn't he? But it just wasn't working.
because that's the only way you will ever find gaps
Yeah.
against a Dmitry Bivol. You look at Beterbiev, you know, similar sort of thing. When you started to let his shots go in combinations, there was occasions where Bivol would find himself not necessarily stuck in the mud because he's never stuck, but you do find that his exit that he wanted is not there, and you can catch him a couple of times, and that's where you make the rounds closer.
Mm.
But it was just he was never in the fight.
I mean, even the fact that early we got the knockdown.
Minute and a
Um,
half in, I think, 90 seconds
yeah,
in.
yeah. I think it was probably an element of being caught cold, probably an element of occasion and who's in front of you. Um, but he did get knocked down early, and that probably quite telling of his maybe his mindset as well. But yeah, like I say, probably caught cold. But I think again, we sort of said before the fight, it did feel like the writing was on the wall, but definitely from when it started, you think, yeah, it's just. And I think as well, no disrespect to Ethan here, it's not nice to say really, but I don't think Bivol really had to work too much. He didn't have to do anything other than the very basics. And don't get me wrong, the basics is what he does brilliantly. But he didn't look. He looked like he was cruising the whole time. He didn't have to turn it up. He didn't have to switch anything on. And I think that's just testament to how good he is.
I think we've said it a million times, and we'll say it again. Do you know when you've got your elite champions like your Dmitry Bivols,
Yeah,
your Inues,
Shakors.
your Shakors, and you put them in with I don't want to sound disrespectful because Effort's obviously good, but that sub sort of world level, that them fringe contenders, the ones who are
I mean,
just
he was he probably like top 15 light heavy, maybe
yeah,
top 20.
probably yeah. I'd have to have a look at the number. It'd be somewhere around there, you would assume. But when you see them against them substandard fighters, unfortunately, they always elite fighters just don't look exciting because they don't need to come out of second gear,
Mm,
which means that you don't see any of that turmoil, any jeopardy, anything where it's like, oh, he's been hit there, he's been caught. Whatever. It just doesn't happen. And we've seen it with Shakur throughout his career when he's had sort of weird stop gaps where he's had opponents that aren't at his level. And it was just one of them for Bivol. It was similar with Malik Zinad when he fought him in
yeah.
Saudi Arabia. I know he stopped him sort of 10, 11 rounds, weren't it?
Mm,
But the first few rounds, it was just kind of like,
yeah. I think we've said it about Bivol before as well. He's efficient. He will work to what he has to beat. So when he
mm,
had to beat Beterbiev, he worked hard.
yeah,
If he has to beat Ether, he'll work as hard as he's got to do to beat him,
yeah.
and that's that. So,
Do you know who I'd
it
like
was very good.
to see Bivol fight next?
Mm,
Oh, well, there's two actually. I want to say Efort. I would like him to fight for the European Championship. I think he deserves it.
yeah,
I think he's probably well ranked as a German in that ranking system. Lyndon Arthur, Lewis Edmondson are fighting for it. If Lyndon comes to Edmondson, which I think he will, um,
that'd be a good fight actually.
that'd be a cracking little fight. Two
That would be a
fighters
good
that have
fight.
gone the distance with Bivol. Two fighters that aren't quite at that elite level of the world top 10,
Mm.
but
I think it'd be a good opportunity for Ether to take a step back as well and go, right, let me go and do this and prove that I'm above that.
yeah,
Because I think he is. I think he probably is world level. I just think he's unfortunate that he's stepped in there with Bivol.
it's like what we spoke about yesterday or Friday with Andrew Maloney.
Mm.
He's world level. And in another era when them divisions weren't as stacked as they were, he's won a world title.
Mm.
Unfortunately, someone like Ether, your first world title shot is coming against Dmitry Bivol.
Yeah,
The good news is the other option for Ether is David Benavidez.
nightmare. And that would be interesting next option for Bill. Um, Now we know Benavidez. I think said he was ordered to defend his belts against Mikhailian
Yeah,
at Cruiser, but we're not sure exactly what he's doing yet. I think the idea was to come back down to light heavy originally, but he might find that he's more interested in what's at Cruiser. I can't see that being the case personally because I think with Jai, we don't know what's happening with him. Um, you'd be more likely to see him go if the Bivol fight is an opportunity, if it is a possibility. Sorry, I think he'd just jump on that. I think he'd come back down and fight Bivol in a heartbeat.
I don't think he'd have to come down much really. When you think about what he looked like a cruiserweight, he didn't look like he put on any massive size, did it?
Um,
He's quite naturally a big
I was
guy,
going to
isn't he?
say,
He just didn't have to cut weight. I think is the impression I got.
yeah, he's not carved out of stone, is he? He's not in bad shape, but he's not carved out of stone like other light heavies or
No, no,
cruisers.
yeah,
So
he's built like me.
I think he will probably find it manageable to come back
Yeah,
down.
I think so.
Um, so yeah, I think that would be a cracking fight to be honest with you.
Predict it.
No, no,
I don't like
I
picking
won't
against
predict it.
Benavidez.
I won't predict it because I think it's so unpredictable. Because you know what you get with Benavidez at light heavy. I didn't expect him to look like that at cruiser, and he surprised me, and he looked probably the best he's ever looked.
Yeah, yeah,
Genuinely, I thought. Um, uh, Previously, when he's had fights in lower weight divisions, he's been dragged into a little bit of deeper waters. Um, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I don't. I think exactly what you just said. Bivol will fight his fight no matter what.
yeah.
But Benavidez is forward, fast hands, and I think he's got the advantage over him with speed and power.
I'd
And
agree.
and it's like that's a massive part. But his footwork, all right, Bill's footwork is probably better. It's a very tough one. I think when the fight gets made, we're gonna have a very interesting discussion about it.
Yeah, I would agree.
The last thing to talk is Clay Edwards and Nukatole.
Yeah,
We're not going to spend too long, I don't think, on this.
me
Not
too, do it.
compared to the others. Again, there wasn't as much going on or as to talk about. Unfortunately, Charlie Edwards did lose. I say unfortunate because it's unfortunate for him. Big congratulations to Zico Nakatalo, who went and caused what you probably consider to be a bit of an upset.
Even give us a little shout out
He
afterwards.
did. He did. So thank you very much for that.
We like Zico and we like Charlie Edwards. Unfortunately, it was one of them fights where you got two fighters that you quite like, two fighters you don't mind watching, and unfortunately in boxing you can't just have a draw because you like two guys. Generally speaking, there's always a winner. Charlie switched it up going into the later rounds, brought himself back into the fight, made it a little bit closer, just too little, too late.
Yeah.
Charlie said he's going to continue. I'm okay with it, by the way.
Yeah.
But I think, well, no, I'm not going to say what I think. I'm going to ask you what you think. Do you think he can realistically look himself in the mirror now and say, I'm still a world class operator?
Probably not, no. But I think as long as he continues with that in mind, and if he loves the sport, he wants to stay in the sport, wants to keep making money from it, that's fine. You've got to accept though that you're not going to be that fighting for the big titles necessarily. It's not to say that he can't go on a good run of beating opponents that are aspiring to be that world level, and if he does, that he doesn't get his final shot. But I think he's got to accept that he's dropping down now, and he's going to have to fight. I don't know, maybe some European level fights, a
Yeah.
couple of fringe world level fights to be able to go. All right, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm going to be doing. And if they say if you find some form, or if a vacant title comes up, whatever, last roll of the dice before you retire, maybe. But I think carrying on isn't a bad decision. But I think accepting that you're probably not going to be fighting for world titles now. He's going to lose a lot of what was probably lower weight classes as well. What was probably not a lot of marketability anyway. He probably lost quite a lot in the last few fights. Obviously beat Henry Cagle right at that. Yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
I'm still getting back on what the whole thing as well, by the way. So that's not a fully informed because I didn't see all of how he was fighting, how he was getting on.
He,
But I understand it quite convincing, really.
it was. It was reflective on the scorecards. I was a little bit worried there might be some controversy in that fight for obvious reasons. But no, the scorecards were. I think the scorecards were fair enough and reflective. Charlie came into it, like I say, a little bit later on, but he just Charlie. I mean, Charlie and Sonny both as fighters have always been back foot fighters. But Charlie used to be more willing to engage and let his hands go and look to land scoring shots. And I just feel like he's so hesitant to let his hands go nowadays. And that's it's I get it at world level, there is a bit more jeopardy there, but if you wanna win these fights against these opponents that are at that level, you've gotta win rounds, and he just wasn't winning rounds. And his corner, by the way, I wanna say his corner work was brilliant. Stephen Smith did some brilliant corner work. His advice was really clear, really direct, really concise. There were no fucking about. It was just exactly what, to be honest, exactly what he needed to be doing. It's just that Charlie wasn't converting that.
Yeah.
Charlie has come out and said he'll definitely be back. He's said that 100%, without a shadow of a doubt, he's going to make some changes. I don't know if that's referring to his corner team, but I don't think that's the issue. I
Mm.
really don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that's my two pence worth. Seiko Nicotale,
Yeah.
world title next.
Congratulations. Yeah. Well, that's where it's looking, isn't it? The Andrew Maloney and Willibaldo Garcia winner will be his next fight, uh, according to the official mandating process. But we'll see how it all pans out for him.
Will be there as Seiko's official media team. It's not been officially
Maybe
announced
we
yet.
should talk to him about that first.
Nah,
Um,
I'll drop Seiko a message.
Now we're going to do a very quick recap of the other results. So Amanda Serrano beat Cheyenne Henson. I think stopped her in the second round.
Stopped her in a second, yeah.
Costa Val fought Lord Suarez, and Costa Val did lose the fight. So unfortunate, really, for her. Stephanie Han and Holly Holmes. Stephanie Han with that now looking for something like Big Five, Kate Taylor or Caroline Dubois next, as we understand it at the minute. Fran Hennessy, good stoppage win. Fran Hennessy. He said there was a lot of blood in that and fight in that. I think he did see it. I think it looked like a good win and adds to her sort of selling points. I think, and she'll look to carry on doing well. Hopefully, a world title soon. Joel Kadua beat Will Harrison, unanimous decision. Unfortunately, James Ozzy Osbourne was beaten by Ollie Cooper, but he's already said to us, don't worry, he'll be back and better than ever. Fingers crossed. in America, Amari Jones, Zaki Moses both had good wins and both carrying on their young careers well. A couple of US prospects to keep looking at. We had Riyad Murray beat Kevin Lorena by unanimous decision, and also Charlie Sheehy
Hate saying it.
wins on his Matchroom debut as well, and that's another exciting young prospect to keep your eyes peeled for. That brings us to the end of this episode. Again, if you've stuck around till the end, please make sure to let us know what you like, what you don't like, how this format is working for you. We had loads of good responses on the last one. We're hoping for more this time around. Talk to us. We're always looking for conversation, community, all that stuff.
Ideas.
Yeah, 'cause we ain't got many.
No, run out.
But that does bring us to the end, and we will see you on the next episode where we will likely be talking about the next weekend's boxing. See you later.
See ya.